At a press conference held at the Artichon Conference Center, Vice President Dr Bharrat Jagdeo said the Finance Ministry, during the first budget meeting, informed that it usually takes them 179 days to prepare and present a budget, but the government has made it clear that this should be done within 3 weeks.
So the 179 days in the normal cycle will have to come down to about 3 weeks. And the reason why it is so is because the country, the help that people need in many of the sectors can't be made available to them unless, and to reboot the economy, unless we have an early budget. So we'll have to work overtime to get the budget ready in another three weeks. What is making this even more complicated is that, as you know, we are changing the nomenclature of the ministries back to the old structures. So that means we also, whilst preparing the budget, we have to also change the IFMA system to revert back to the old structures, the structures of ministries, so that you can have a smooth disbursement of resources, etc. This requires shifting of programs, which we are now looking at, because programs were put everywhere under different ministers and often very political programs. So like Amnali had a few and this person had something else, different slush funds that were not properly audited, nor did they have any synergy with the ministry in which they were implemented. So we are doing that right at this point in time to see that the structure is an efficient one, that we can reduce administrative costs, which skyrocketed under the last government, and that we can have synergies.
The 21 days took effect from when the circular went out to all agencies and ministries this week. Ministers and heads of departments have been given deadlines of next Monday and Wednesday to submit their plans so that the Finance Ministry can take the next steps. Ghana has been operating without a 2020 budget as a result of the March 2nd elections and the 5-month delay in the declaration of the results. And even though an entire cabinet has been established, there's no finance minister. This responsibility has since been taken up by the office of the president. But according to Dr. Jagdeo, a finance minister will be announced as soon so as to have full oversight of the sector. The vice president did not say whether the finance minister will be announced in time for the budget presentation in the National Assembly. Meanwhile, Dr. Jagdeo revealed that a number of issues will hamstring the government from providing an adequate budget. He explained that while the oil economy grew by 45.9%, the non-oil economy shrunk by 4.9% for the first half of the year. He said the budget will have to include a number of measures to stimulate the economy and stop the decline. According to Dr. Jagdeo, the wholesale and retail trade shrunk by 14%, accommodation by 33%, the bauxite sector shrunk by 42%, mining by 57%, while the forestry and fisheries sectors also registered significant decline. The vice president further revealed that up to mid-year, a total of $116 billion was dispersed from the Treasury, while $111 billion in revenue was spent. The new government also found that the former APNU-AFC administration provided a loan of $10.7 billion to the Guyana Power and Light Company to pay for a Wärtsilä plant. This money was taken from the consolidated fund, according to Jagdeo, who noted that this is an illegal disbursement.
This is crucial that last year, just before the elections, the government went on a corrupt spending spree. And many of the ministries awarded contracts, although they knew they didn't have money to fulfill the contracts, because if you're awarding a contract in November and December, you cannot implement the contract fully. So $21.7 billion rolled over from last year, this is on the capital side, into this year's budget. So that means that the new government is starting $21.7 billion already spent or catered for. So you now, that reduces your allowance on the capital side by 27.1, 22 billion nearly. That is on just rollover projects. Then you have to, in the new budget, also, in Jordan, he made a loan to GPL of $10.7 billion. And this was not a loan for public service. So this was, in my view, an illegal disbursement. Nowhere in our financial laws would they allow the Minister of Finance to disburse from the consolidated fund $10.7 billion in a loan for capital expenditure.
It was further revealed that the former government in capital expenditure spent $1.134 billion on COVID-19 related activities. The vice president said that the major public corporations such as Gaisuku, GPL, GWI, and the Ghana Forestry Commission and other agencies are in deficit. It was noted that the Gold Board is over $4 billion in deficit. According to Dr. Jagdeo, the PPP will be starting the budget with $135 billion spent already on the capital side. Reporting for the newsroom, Fariza Hanif.